The Trump administration now in full damage control over Michael Flynn, and today, White House spokesman Sean Spicer said this wasn't a legal issue and claimed that Flynn talking to the Russians was perfectly lawful. Spicer said at the end of the day, it was a trust issue.
The issue here was that the president got to the point where General Flynn's relationship misleading the vice president and others, or the possibility that he had forgotten critical details of this important conversation had created a critical mass and an unsustainable situation. That's why the president decided to ask for his resignation, and he got it.
The Democrats are not having any of it, and they seem to want to take this all the way to the top.
What did the president know, and when did he know it? The Republicans need to join us. This is not a Democratic issue. This is not a Republican issue. It's not an independent issue. This is an American issue for the soul of our democracy.
Follow the rubles. So how could this have happened in the first place? Now, surely a career military and intelligence guy like Michael Flynn must have known the risks, right? Well, Bryan Suits is here. He's an Iraq combat war veteran and KFI radio host. Suits, welcome back.
Thank you.
Happy Valentine's Day to you, my brother from the same mother, oddly enough. I found that out a couple months ago. So this is obviously a very politicized fight, but how much of it was just bad blood between Flynn and the intelligence community?
I think enough to get the former Attorney General Sally Yates involved because, you know, the FBI doesn't just do law enforcement, they do counterintelligence. And the fact that Flynn didn't know that he was going to be taped and that the ambassador Kislyak, you know, didn't say to him, you know, we're on tape, right? You know, roll that the back, comrade, or whatever. It's ludicrous. And those of us who saw this coming a year ago,
yeah.
And you know that I'm on the record way long ago predicting that this guy is a puppy sitting next to a pile of poo waiting to happen. And it reflects on Trump's judgment, like it or not. He has to own this. And ultimately, it doesn't matter what he said to the ambassador. He got turfed for lying to the vice president, which you just don't do. And that Flynn couldn't figure that out either. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons he had to go, but he leaves because Pence, you know, walked in there and said, I can't trust that guy. That means you can't trust him. So politically, it's a mess. It could have been avoided by not appointing the guy.
Yeah, no, and it seemed that there were plenty of issues with his appointment in the first place. But also you've got people involved in the story, including Sally Q. Yates, John Brennan, and others who, you know, including James Clapper. And these were people on their way out of jobs that they had had for several years. So how much of this is just the politicization of Washington?
A lot. And what this boils down to is this is a bit of a hangover from the Obama administration and the Bush administration. The CIA, the intelligence community, the entire alphabet soup, plus the Pentagon, they are the guard dogs. And they don't care who owns the house. They are the guard dogs. And when you kick the guard dog enough, it kicks back, or it bites back. I'm sorry. It bites back.
Yeah.
And Flynn got the keys to the house and immediately threw the dog bed out on the front lawn and started feeding him cheap food and bad-mouthing him and the whole thing. He knew better. Of all the national security advisors we've had, you know, Scowcroft and Brzezinski especially, this guy knew better. He was in the system. He knew better than to do that.
Isn't this really a question of who runs the country and ultimately who runs the world? I mean, isn't this a power struggle because we have such an unorthodox president who wants to rewrite the rules, who doesn't accept business as usual, and these agencies are saying, nope, this is the way we've always done it, and guess what? We're going to show you this is how we're going to keep doing it.
I think that's a big part of it. For a guy who said he doesn't need a daily briefing and that the CIA screwed up the Iraq story and the whole thing, they know full well that they don't get credit for their big wins. Trump can't figure that out, that they actually are the most effective intelligence agencies in the entire world, and then we only know about their public failures. And so he discounts out of hand before he's even in the White House what they do. And so, yeah, you're seeing the political, well, it's not new that they're politicized.
Yeah.
Okay, it goes way back. The National National Park Service is politicized.
No, you're telling me.
But they're being, when they get abused, whether it's Bill Clinton, George Bush, or Barack Obama, they get to push back. And Trump had better understand, he inherited Washington. He's not going to drain any swamps. He inherited Washington. This is how Washington works. This is how the 202 inside the Beltway works. And the CIA and the State Department are part of that.
Pence is one of the biggest alligators in the swamp. And he was the one who said, you know what? No, not on my leash. All right, Bryan, thank you very much.